you doing, everybody? I'm Kitt, Kiarie, and welcome back to another episode. In this episode, we are tackling myths about relationships, myths about marriage. We just celebrated, my husband and I just celebrated 17 years together. On the 5th of February, 2006. We were going out to the club and we were meeting up at his house. I think there were other friends present. I'm not certain. We had been friends for 2 years by then, and I had broken up with my boyfriend the December before then. So I had been single for all of 3 months. It wasn't a lot. And he had been pursuing me in the beginning of our school time together, so in 2004. But then when I started dating my then boyfriend, obviously he stopped pursuing me and we were just good friends. But he was in love with me the entire time. This is information that I'm getting after. And to be fair, let me just be very, very honest with myself and you guys. I was in love with him too. I was just afraid that he was so popular. He had all these women around him at all times of day and night. And I was just like, this is a player. This is a player. I don't want to be involved with anything like that. This is not for me. So I said no. I wish I knew the character development that my serious, in quotes, biggest quotes in life, boyfriend would put me through. He slept with everything in a skirt. He was just awful. He was awful. I wish I knew, but it is school fees. That is what we call it. I learned. Whatever. So on this day, it was in the evening, he called me to his room and he asked me, Kitt, please, I'm in love with you. Please be my girlfriend. And he had this necklace. It was 2 hearts. One heart broken into 2. And he asked me and I said yes. I was so scared. I was like, now our friendship is going to be messed up. And if this doesn't work out, I'm going to lose a very good friend. But I took the chance and here I am 17 years later, 11 years married, 2 children, deep, obsessed with the man, in love. I couldn't be happier. Without further ado, let's get into the episode. I get a lot of questions and advice, and I just want to bust some myths based on my experience. And I invite you guys to also share in the comment section your experience. What do you think about the myth? Is it working for you so far? Do you think it's true? Do you think there's whatever it is? Let's discuss in the comment section. Myth number 1, your true love will automatically know what to say and what to do in order to make you happy. Personally, I feel like this is a very childish myth. Like this is a very childish view to have. People cannot read your mind. You cannot expect people to know what makes you happy, what to do, what to say, if you haven't shared with them in the past. That said, even if you have shared with them in the past, people are constantly changing. You are constantly changing. Your partner is constantly changing. So what may have worked yesterday might not work today. Now, it's important for me to note, and for you to note as well, that just because your partner made a mistake or did an incorrect thing doesn't mean that they don't love you. And it doesn't mean that they're not paying attention, or it doesn't mean that they're selfish. People are just people. And I feel like we often judge our partners so harshly based on how we view the world, our perception. So if you think that on Valentine's Day, obviously we should go out for dinner and whatever, but them in their family, how they grew up was not celebrating Valentine's Day. In fact, they think it's a pagan ritual or whatever it is, and you've never discussed it. You're like, my boyfriend doesn't care about me. did you speak about it? Did you say, by the way, my birthday is very, very important. And this is a true life. The first few years, I was like, what is wrong with this man? Because he was not celebrating my birthday. I would go all out for his birthday, and he would really not celebrate my birthday. And I would be like, why are you so mean? Why are you so mean to me? And he's like, I don't care about birthdays. And I'm like, but I'm celebrating yours. And he's like, I really don't care. I don't care that you celebrated mine, and I don't care about birthdays. It's not about mine or yours. I actually don't care about birthdays. Nowadays, obviously, he cares a lot about birthdays because I have shown him I really, really care. So because he wants to show me that he loves me, he does that for me. But it took a while. People just don't know just because they're your true love. It's not magic. Number 2, having kids brings couples closer. Now, I see people doing this a lot. Your marriage is on the rocks. Your relationship is struggling. You get pregnant. My friend, wait. If you are stressed out about communicating and you add an individual, a whole person, because that's what a baby is, a whole person into the mix, now not only are you not communicating about your relationship, you are now also not communicating about the baby. You're not talking about roles, about who should do what. You're not talking about illnesses. You're not talking about parenting styles. Now you have added more to your plate. Your problem is going to get bigger. That initial, oh my goodness, you're carrying my child, you're the mother of my child, you're the father of my child, blah 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 blah, wears off so quickly. The first 3 months, you're sick, you're in the toilet, you're moody, you're this, that, and the other, because pregnancy wreaks havoc on your spiritual, mental, physical health. And if your partner is a person who is not nurturing, now you've added pregnancy to that, he is even less nurturing, it seems. Obviously, he's just the same, but it now seems he's less nurturing. You are sunk. You are done for. It's so fascinating how I see people keep going back and keep having more and more children in the hope that it's a band-aid to your relationship, and it just ends up being you eventually separate, and now you have 4 children to deal with instead of none, instead of 1. It's a burden. It's a burden. Children do not bring couples closer if you are not close to begin with. Children will even cause close couples to have problems that were not there to begin with. So that's a myth. That's all I have to say about that. Number 3, having differences will ruin your marriage. Now, if we all married people who were exactly like us, we would be the most bored people in life. Differences don't ruin your marriage. They actually spice up your marriage, because you are doing something different from me. I am different from you. We have our own, because we all came up to adulthood in different settings, in different homes. Obviously, unless you're marrying your first cousin, you are different, and your values are different, and your beliefs are different. Now that's spicy. That's what makes you work. That's what brings you a different perspective. You can't grow up from, infancy to adulthood and still believe the same things you were believing when you were 15. You're going to have to think about things in a different perspective. Stand over here. look at it from my viewpoint. You stand over there, look at it from, your viewpoint, and work it out. It's not just because, if the differences are glaring and you believe in if your husband does not beat you, then he doesn't love you, and your husband is from a family where there was no violence, his emotional health is intact, and he's like, why do you want me to beat you? Like, no. And you're like, you don't love me, that might ruin your marriage. But other than that, just everyday differences, obviously not. Now, I know I've gotten a few questions on my Instagram and people asking for advice, and they're like, Kitt, my husband thinks this, I think that. What should I do in this manner? Come to a middle. Do you know that you actually don't have to agree with everything to have a happy marriage? You can be like, I respect that you believe it to be like that. I believe it like this. How can we come to the middle, especially if it's a decision to do with children or where you live or how you eat? You have to come to a middle and a compromise. Let's do a little from this side and a little from this side and go from there. And if your partner is the one that doesn't compromise, that's a problem. That's an issue. And you know what? You did not find it out in marriage. You have been seeing it through dating. This is an uncompromising person and you chose that. So you chose uncompromising for a life partner. If you're in the dating scene, obviously you have a choice. Even in marriage, you have a choice, guys. It's not, prison. You can choose. You can always choose. It is difficult. It's heartbreaking to leave somebody who you thought you were going to have forever with, but it is not impossible. Okay? So you have to keep choosing each other. And if you don't choose each other, you have to let each other go, please. And for the sake of children, I'm such a big advocate. For the sake of children, leave. Do not live in unhappy relationships, always abusing each other, and just at it for the children so that the children can have a complete home. Children don't want that. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know one time we spoke about staying for the children and how so many, countless grown-ups wrote in and said, I wish my mother had left. I wish my father had left. I wish they had separated. This was horrible. The worst kind. I have a warped view of marriage and relationships because they stayed for the kids. We said in 2023, we're telling the truth. You're staying for money. You're staying for status. You're staying for church, looking good in church. Forget about this. You're staying for kids. You're just not. You're just not. Number 4, happy couples don't argue. People ask every single time I ask, what are your assumptions about my family? Y'all are like, you and your husband never argue. Guys, how is that possible? I want to meet a couple who never argues and are happy. Like, genuinely happy. They never argue, they never have disagreements, and they are both individually happy. Because what actually comes to mind about couples who never argue is one or both are settling. And they're just like, because I don't want to argue, let me just go along with whatever my spouse wants. There comes a point when you get tired of settling and you're like, I would also like it this way, but then I can't say because that would be arguing. So what do? People who live in relationships where they don't argue, more often than not have given up. They're not trying anymore and they really couldn't care less. And they have a partner somewhere else who they argue with. So, unfortunately, happy couples argue. I don't know if that's unfortunate or fortunate, but happy couples argue. They disagree, but how they deal with those disagreements, how they argue, that's what makes them happy. My husband and I have fighting rules. So we have rules. You cannot insult any of my parents. You cannot say always or never. We do not bang doors. We do not walk away from each other. We do not hit anything, the wall, the cat, the couch. We do not raise our voices. We argue in a private environment. These are some of our fighting rules. They create a boundary in which we fight so that we can live to fight another day, so that we're not fighting to kill the person and end this relationship, burn the bridge. We don't want that. We want to be able to fight well so that in the future we can also continue fighting. That's my bestie. I want to fight with him for the rest of my life. Number 5, happy couples have to do everything together. No. If your man wants to, this is a cliche, but watch football, and you're not into watching football, allow him to watch football on his own. Now, that said, if he's constantly asking you to go watch football with him, that's a love language. We know that women relate face to face and men shoulder to shoulder. So men do stuff together, watch stuff and stuff like that, and women just sit and talk. You find it very, very beneficial leaning into some of the things that he enjoys and him leaning into some of the things that you enjoy. So if your man is always asking you, come to the garage with me, come to watch football with me, and you really couldn't be bothered, say yes once in a while and give in to showing love the way he receives love, because you would want him to do the same for you, right? But this thing of doing everything together, you don't have to do that. I encourage women so much to keep their hobbies going. We go to bridal showers with my mom, and a lot of the women there say that, some of the older women say that they have lost themselves in marriage because they got in there and they were told to lose their friends. They were told to stop doing all the things they used to do when they were single. They were told to stop going to all the places they used to go when they were single. They're told by other older women, not by their husband, obviously. And guess who doesn't tell the husband to do that? Everybody. So while the husband's life remains the same, your life changes drastically and then you resent him for that. Don't change the stuff that you like to do. Continue the stuff that you like to do. Keep it going. After you've had children, keep it going. If you enjoy walking or hikes or dancing, keep that going, because that's a part of you that you cherish and you enjoy. So keep it going. You don't have to do everything with your husband to have a successful marriage. You don't have to do everything with your partner to have a successful relationship. Number 6, monogamy means dissipating, passion, or boring sex. I know it is difficult in this world of media and movies and Hollywood to imagine that having sex with the same person over and over and over and over and over and over and over until time finishes is interesting. But I assure you, the more you have sex with someone, the better it gets. Why? Just the simple rule that the more you do something, the better you get at it. You now know your body, and you know your body with this person. And this person also knows your body, and you know their body. And you know how you like to have sex. You know how you like to be together. So, no, the dissipating passion, boring sex, that's actually a myth. If you find yourself getting bored, it's because you yourself are boring. I keep telling my kids this. Bored people are boring people. You don't bring the fun. You lay there and wait to be done. Bring the fun, bring the excitement, bring the passion. Like, get involved. Get involved. And number 7, allowing the housekeeper to clean your room, cook your food, serve your husband will cause your husband to cheat. In 2023, we are not excusing men's bad behavior on us. We're just not. We're not doing it any longer. That was our grandmothers and maybe our mother's generation, but it stops here. It stops here. We cannot continue this myth that you have to do everything for your husband as a woman, otherwise he will stray. Someone will take him like a handbag. We're partners. And everybody has to be in charge of their own sexuality. Now, I cannot be in charge of Martin's sexuality. Currently, he's not even in Nairobi. He's away. So, am I going to call him? Where did you eat? Where did you sleep? Who did you have a meeting with? Every day, track him, wondering, because I'm not serving him where he's at. I'm not making the bed where he's at. He's in a hotel. Or so he says. All I have is to believe him. I believe he's in a hotel because he said he was. I trust my husband. Now, if you have a problem with trust and you cannot trust your spouse, that's the issue there. The issue is not cooking. The issue is not making your bed. The issue is not cleaning your room. The issue is not washing your sheets. The issue is trust. If washing the sheets and serving your husband and cooking for him are acts of love, do that. But they should not be done so that your husband does not cheat. Because there are men who cheat and there are men who do not cheat. And it doesn't matter what the women in those situations do, the men have decided to cheat. Same for women. If my husband is not fixing the light bulbs in the house, he's not protecting at the gate, he's not on the roof fixing whatever it is, I can now not decide I'm now going to sleep with the watchie because he's standing over there in his army uniform looking mighty fine. Let me get a taste because my husband is not doing it anyway. He doesn't protect us. How come it doesn't work out the same way for women? How come? Ask yourself that question. Anyway, enough said. You don't have to do all these things that your husband doesn't cheat on you. You do them out of love if you want to do them. Hire help, hire machines, outsource work. Hard labor does not mean faithful men. I don't know who ever came up with that equation. It sounds like 2 + 2 is 17. Anyway, that's it. And I really hope I have busted some of the myths that you had. Please share with me some of more myths that you might have come across, more myths that you had people spewing in these streets. And let's discuss in the comment section. And thank you so much for watching and listening. Until next time, bye.
You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly.